It is officially show time. What's going on, everyone? And welcome to the latest, brand new edition of 27 Outs Live. As always, I am Ivan alongside Stefan. Here we are yet again, right? As always, it's been about, I think, 7 days, a week since our last show. I guess our apologies for that, sometimes we try to squeeze in a second episode, but a lot of things have happened over this past week, right? You got the Knicks going to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in, I believe, 25 years. So I know Stefan is hype about that. Moving forward, depending on how far, they do go, we're going to have to work the 27-hour schedule around the Knicks schedule. I mean, it's only right, bro. I got to respect, how happy you are about the moment. So there's that. As you can tell by the title of tonight's video, we got that rivalry stuff we're gonna get into. Tigers, Baltimore Orioles. It's funny that we're talking about the O's again here today because shout out to our people on TikTok, but a lot of Orioles fans had some things to say. So we'll get into that and more. Before we actually get into the topics of tonight's show, though, as always, couple of things. We are still stuck at 192. Damn it, that 192, man. What the hell's going on? Listen, help us get past 192 here on YouTube. And the way to do that is by subscribing, right? So if you're new here and you're watching right now, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Aside from that, we are also still stuck at 99 followers on IG. So if you guys are interested in following us on Instagram as well, make sure you guys follow us over there, and please be lucky number 100 if you don't mind. And two more things before we get into the baseball stuff, which is what you guys are here for, of course, which there's no problem with. TikTok, we are very close. I think we're like less than 40 likes away from 2,000 likes overall on TikTok. So I think it's safe to say that between now and the next time we hit the mics, we're probably going to be at that 2,000 mark or slightly above. So shout out to you guys for showing us love on TikTok. And YouTube, right, which is the home base. This is the foundation, as Stefan and I like to say. Big week for us here. We had a few videos, I must say, that reached over 1,000 views. I don't think we've had that yet in a week. Like, we've had videos reach 1,000 and whatnot, but to sit here and actually say, yo, we had a few videos hit the 1,000 mark in less than 7 days is crazy, man. I mean, listen, I know those numbers are perhaps maybe small for some of you, and you got to remember we're still pretty young, right? Like, we're just a year old, just a little more than a year old, I should say, right? Not just that, we clearly have more eyes than subscribers when it comes to this channel, right? And the only way things are going to even out is if you guys don't forget to play your part, because one thing about Stefan and I is, we're going to continue to do our part, and that's pumping out content such as bringing yet another brand new show for you guys here tonight. So continue with the support across all platforms: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the Twitter, man. Any of you guys on Twitter, show us some love there. Doesn't seem like people really be on I guess X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it nowadays. But listen, we're still rocking on 3 other platforms. So again, thank you for that. Stefan, how are you feeling? I spoke briefly about the Knicks. Before we get into any baseball topics, though, how are you feeling? I like to start off with that. And anything else you want to say before we get things started? And please start with whatever you want to when it comes to getting this party started. So go ahead.
All right, man. Let's just talk baseball. I'm good, man. Y'all gonna have to come get the defibrillators ready for Wednesday, but we out here.
Wednesday is game 1, right?
Yeah, man, we out here, so I'm excited. But let's get to this baseball talk, man. Because if I start talking Knicks, there's gonna be a Knicks show. So
now, honestly, before we actually wrap up at the end, I gotta make sure I give you at least like 2 to 3 minutes, because this is a completely different round coming up, right? Like, this is something that they haven't done, and like some people haven't even been alive since the last time they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Put it to you this way: the Sidekick, the iPhone, the Boost mobile phones weren't even all invented yet before the Knicks made the conference finals. So we're actually playing our first finals in high definition television. Think about that. The Knicks weren't in the conference finals before HGTVs came out. So That's how long it's been. But let's start with the elephant in the room, man, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm over the Subway Series talk. I'm over the Juan Soto stuff. I'm over it. But I want to bring a different element to this, and I want to have a different conversation tonight. And I want to emphasize this for the people that think that these guys are robots and they play for money. These guys are human beings. They feel pressure. They have emotions. They go through things just like you and I go through things. Are they perfect? No. Are they making a lot of money? Yes. But the money should not negate the fact that they're human beings. So here's what I have to say. Listen, while he's not playing well and while he hasn't started well and while all these things are true, let me just put something out there right now. Juan Soto is going to hit for the New York Mets at some point. The weather's going to warm up, and so is he. He's going to go on a stretch where, like, for 2 months, this guy's going to hit like 400. You know why? Because he's that good of a hitter, and we all just got to chill. That's first of all. Second of all, it's a shame on Carl Ravage, on Michael Kay, on all these so-called journalists that are professionals spreading misinformation about this brother, about how he wanted a private jet, about how he needed all these different things, about how he wanted to come back to the Yankees, but his family steered him to the Mets. Why is that anybody's business? And why is it coming out now? Why don't we just let this brother play in peace? He chose the Mets. He's a Met now. He got his money. The contract signed. We can't go back. You can't undo time. It's over. Enough. Was I expecting him to have a bigger Subway Series than what he had? Yes, I was. But the reality is what the reality is. He was 1 for 10 and he didn't show up. Does that absolve him of being a good baseball player? Did he forget how to play baseball? No. But I'm going to tell you this for the record. There's a reason why, a lot of athletes don't want to come to New York. They are killing this brother. And for no other reason than, why? He did what he felt was right. He did what was best for him. Why do we kill him for that? Oh, but he looks miserable. And but so what?
Yeah.
How he looks is how he looks. That's nobody's business other than his. Like, I'm tired of this. And then it felt like yes, the crowd was hyped, but it felt like such a fake energy. Like, oh, the crowd was buzzing and the crowd was into it and the crowd. Listen, I was over it. You know when my weekend ended? When the buzzer hit 000 Friday night and the Knicks were in the conference finals. I did not care what happened in the Subway Series after that.
I was going to say, done. Yeah, you did tell me beforehand, like you weren't.
I tapped out.
Yeah.
Once the Garden buzzer hit 000, I was done. And the reason why I was done is because this brother can't win for losing. If he would have hit 400 against the Yankees this weekend, but he's doing it to shove it in Yankee fans' faces, and but he's only showing up because it's the Yankees, and And one final thing I'm going to say, and then the rant is over, I promise, because I want to hear your thoughts. This brother just went to the World Series with the Yankees last year. Let's not lose sight of that. He went to the World Series with this team last year. If you don't think he has relationships with people on that team, you are crazy and out of your mind. These guys, they work together. They work out together in the offseason. They share secrets. They share tips. They share trainers. They share everything. Baseball is a very small fraternity. Can we stop acting like this dude committed a crime? Stop. Enough. And for all intents and purposes, I'm a Yankee fan. But the Yankee fans, you look kind of fucking pussy. You look weak. You look soft. You look like a jilted lover left you. This is not Derek Jeter. This is not Mariano Rivera. This is not even fucking A-Rod, who I can't stand. But this is not him. This motherfucker was here for a year and you're acting like you got left at the altar. Guess what? The girl you have now ain't bad. Fucking Yankee fans. But go ahead. I'm done.
No, man, I wanted to give you the time that you needed to get all of that out.
God damn.
So I want to say a couple of things regarding what you just said, right? First and foremost, I do agree with you, Stefan, right? But I do want to put myself inside of, you know, the shoes of the people who do feel a way, right? Still, which is kind of crazy because 2 months into the season, I mean, you might have other issues, right? If you're still feeling away, knowing that you had all season long to really get over this.
Right.
But anyway, I think you mentioned something that plays a big part, though, right? Like, while Juan Soto is not a guy who came up through the Yankee system, I think the fact that, listen, he played a humongous part in helping the team make it to the World Series for the first time in since 2009, right? So I think the fact that he played such a huge role in allowing not just the team, but the fan base as well to finally get a taste of that yet again after it being regular for, you know, we know how many times the Yankees used to go back there once upon a time, right? But things change, obviously. And I think that's where it comes from, you know, knowing that the guy who some would say was the missing piece to be able to make it to the World Series, right? Now, winning obviously didn't happen, but the fact that you were finally able to get back to something that was once a part of damn near every year, right? Once upon a time. I think that's what the fans are really upset about. But I read a comment just the other day because everybody has something to say, right? Yankee fans do, Mets fans. I kind of feel like Mets fans have more to say. Hopefully I'm not being biased when I state that, but I have, you know, Mets friends, you know, and I kind of feel they are the ones who are really looking forward to the Subway Series a lot more often than the Yankees are. And that's not to say that Yankee fans don't trash talk either. Both fan bases trash talk each other. But I just think in this case, listen, I think they gave us a hell of a series. I think last night was a tremendous game. But when it comes to this whole Juan Soto thing, I think enough is enough, right? Like, there's no way Yankee fans in this case are going to be talking about this damn near every year. Like, deal with it. The guy made his decision, not only for himself, but for his family, not only for now, but for the future.
That's it.
Like, it just makes all the sense in the world for him to be where he's at right now, you know? And outside of that, as you mentioned, it's none of our business, whether something had to do with the family, whether something had to do with this or that. At the end of the day, he was going to do what was best for him.
But I got to come to his aid, though, bro, because I'm tired of the... All right. This is why certain people shouldn't be allowed to have columns in this city, should not allowed to have shows in this city. They should not allowed to be journalists in this city. They should be not allowed to report things in this city. They should not be allowed to do any of this because you're going to spread misinformation on that brother's name. For what reason? To get a click, to get a like, to get a comment? You deserve to freaking lose all your jobs. What are we talking about? Oh, he wanted to come back to the Yankees, but his family said choose the Mets, so he chose the Mets. If that's the case, why is that any of your business? And why are you spreading misinformation? Like, oh, he flew on a private jet. They made his mom, they made the Mets get a private jet for his mom. No! Where did this come from? And this is a reputable station. ESPN's supposed to be reputable, and you're spreading this garbage? Listen, I'm not a Juan Soto defender by any means. But that is some bullshit, man. And then they wonder why we sit here on shows like this and we tell you, we thump our chest and we tell you, yo, these people out here on some bullshit. We ain't the know-alls. But I will never get on this airway, neither will you, Ivan, and spread something about that brother that is so beyond egregious. If I'm Juan Soto, I'm filing a lawsuit.
Right.
You laugh. You lied on my name. And if the Mets did give me a private jet, whose business is it but mine and my family's?
And the tough part about that too, right? When it's not you who's saying things, but it's the media, now you have the fan base starting to believe this narrative that isn't even a reality. So Juan Soto's probably sitting back like, yo, what the hell is this? I'm not even this type of player.
Right. But you can, can we bring it to the baseball? I can understand why this weekend he said, fuck this. Why do I gotta show my ass? Why? You don't deserve it? Because I find more Met fans kicking his back in. You were sitting there kicking this man's back in. And you got him for the next 14 years. Why are you not saying, yo, Juan Soto, we'll get him next series. Do your thing. I know you're going to come out of it. Like, I can't stand that. You can't be a fan when it's convenient and then say, oh, but he's not playing well. You got him for the next 14 years. You don't think he's feeling the weight of that contract? Mm-hmm. That contract is eating him alive.
So let me ask you this. Do you think the reaction at Yankee Stadium was a little disrespectful?
It was unnecessary.
Right. You know what I mean by that, right? Like, obviously the booing, but not just the booing, but you had fans in right field who actually like turned their back to him. That I thought was a little excessive.
Nah, but I find that funny because I find that funny because you didn't throw nothing on the field. You didn't say fuck his moms. You didn't do like fans could go a little crazy sometimes.
Listen, I know we haven't heard anything come out yet, but you know how bad Yankee fans are with the mouth. I know. In my heart of hearts, I have a strong feeling somebody said something about whether it be about him or his family.
I know, but I kind of like the idea that, you turned your back. You didn't say nothing incendiary. You didn't do nothing crazy. Yeah, you chanted what you chanted. Fuck Juan Soto. It happens, but I'm of the opinion fans could say what they want. Just don't talk about that man's family, his mom's, his personal life, because that's not your business. You pay tickets to get into a ballpark to watch a game, and you're going to watch the game, and you're going to also show the certain level of respect because this dude just did help you get to the World Series. And the other thing is, why did he have to explain himself to anyone? He didn't have to explain nothing. Whatever he chose to do is his business.
Yeah, and I don't think he was with the Yankees long enough to have to explain himself, right? Like, had he been with the organization for, let's say, 5 to 7 years, then obviously when you make a decision like that after being with a team for so long and then again having the type of season that he did last year, then it makes all the sense in the world. Like, you can't just walk away without actually giving these guys a genuine goodbye, But that's not the case.
And then here's the thing, and I'm going to bring it back here, and then we're going to move on because I want to talk about the Mets infield defense, which I think was the biggest story of the weekend. But he told you during Game 5 of the World Series after the game ended when he sat there with the hat backwards, all 30 teams know Scott Boris's number, holla at your boys. Right. Yankees would never get a hometown discount.
But do you remember at the time when, or how I should say, fans reacted to even him saying that? Like, even that kind of like rubbed some people the wrong way. I'm going to be honest, the response did not surprise me. Like, he's wrong for saying it, and he would have been wrong for not saying it. So regardless of how you go about it, he's still going to be eaten alive by the fan base.
Nah, but the fan base, this is what the fan base is. What the fan base needs to realize is, what I would have said was, we'll talk about this another time. Right now is not the time. The game just ended. The season just ended. Let me get back with Scott. Let me talk to the Yankees. Let me figure out what the landscape is. Let's try to have a little bit of some decorum to this. He handled it like a businessman. He handled it like somebody that was going to get his money, regardless of what me, you, Yankee Nation, Met Nation, the whole world thought about it. The man wanted his money, and that's exactly what he got.
I mean, listen. He also, and not to, drift off to another sport, but it's not like he did what Kyrie did when he was with the Celtics. You remember that time when Kyrie said he'll be back and he ended up leaving?
And by the way, how real quick, how smart does Brian Cashman look right now? Because his plan B is looking mighty good right now. Mm-hmm. Paul Goldschmidt hitting 340. Cody's hitting like 320 since 420.
He's heating up too after.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and then Max Fried has been the best pitcher in the American League.
Max Fried is something else, dude.
So
Max Fried.
So like, if Juan Soto's here, guess what? Max Fried's not here.
Right.
Cody Bellinger's not here. Paul Goldschmidt may be here. but that's a maybe.
And that's about it.
Devin Williams is not here. So why are we crying? What crime was committed? Everybody should be happy. It's a win-win. He got his money. The Mets are good. They're one of the best teams in the National League. The Yankees are solid in the American League. You know what the Mets' biggest problem is right now? Somebody want to tell Pete Alonso play first base? 2 more errors tonight at first base.
Wow, that's tough, man.
And that's where you start to worry. Now, is it in his head, right? Is it starting to become a thing where it's like, you know what? Damn, is it in his head? Is he starting to see ghosts? Like that after the throw by Lucas Duda, he was never the same. He was never the same. And that's the kind of throw that can spiral. And look, Pete Alonso is going to be okay. The fans need to chill on this too. But I guess my overarching point in all this, and I'm going to let you go right now, is anybody going to care about these 3 games in May if when both these teams are in October fighting for a playoff spot, fighting in the playoffs, trying to get to the CS, trying to get to the World Series? Are we going to remember that Juan Soto got booed by 50,000 screaming drunken motherfuckers in May at Yankee Stadium for no apparent reason other than they could? Nobody cares.
Right. I'm not. And I for sure wouldn't even think about the Subway Series matchup, honestly, unless it's going to be the Yankees and the Mets in the World Series. And the chances of that happening are very slim.
Nobody cares.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't care. But we're speaking to the people who do care.
Well, here's the problem. If you care, get a life.
There's a lot of people who care, bro. Because I'm with you. I'm seeing it from your perspective. But I have conversations, again, with people, whether it be Yankee fans, Mets fans, and a lot of people seem to care.
If you care that deeply, find something else to do. Touch grass. Touch grass.
Right.
Go let the wind hit your face.
Listen, I and as bad as this sounds, but I got to be honest, right? I don't think that this is going to be the end of you know what we heard
with
the series, but you know.
If you're in the World Series and the guy hits a home run to beat you, then you boo him. But you're doing this in the red. Why? And I'm sorry, Emilio, I don't care if you were there. It's manufactured hate. The dude was here for a year. He didn't curse out nobody's moms. He didn't commit no crime. All he did was leave.
Right.
That's it. Yankee fans are just sensitive because he's a great ball player. But guess what? Your plan B is looking mighty fine right now. You got a couple of good ball players out of it. God, I'm like, yo, it's like you can't lose for winning. And here's the other thing. If Cashman pays him all this money, he gets off to the start this year he got off to. Do you know how much people would be killing the Yankees and Brian Cashman for giving this dude this money?
Right, for bringing him back if it happened, right.
What are you talking about, bro? What are we talking? Why is this? Why? And I'm going to say this for the record, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I kind of was waiting for him to have his against the Yankees moment.
It'll come at some point. Now we won't be able to dictate when.
No,
but if somebody were to ask me, do you see Juan Soto having like that Met moment?
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And when it happens, you know what? I'm a Yankee fan, but I'm going to be doing this. Because for all you motherfuckers that don't understand that it's a business to these players. They don't care what you think. They don't care what the fans think. Yeah, the fans pay their salary, but guess what? It's their jobs. It is their jobs. It's what they get paid to do. The rest of it does not matter. What you think, what I think, what the world thinks, what pundit on TVs think, what all these dudes think, they don't care. Because at the end of the day, that is their job. They don't care what you got to say. As long as the check clears and their family is straight and they don't got to answer questions about safety, who cares what Juan Soto does for the next 15 years? If you're a Met fan, you might care. I want Juan Soto to be good for this platform. Let's be selfish. If Juan Soto's good and the Mets are good, guess what happens at 27 outs? We benefit from it.
Yeah.
We benefit from it. No other way to slice it, but we benefit from it. Period. Point blank. Period. The end.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's enough time with the Subway series. Before we move on to some comments here, as well as the next topic, please go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. You can find us on all three at 27outs3C. Also, hit that thumbs up button right now because YouTube, right, which is the only way you guys are watching us right now live. Make sure you guys like and definitely subscribe if you're new here, because we've been getting a lot of attention on the channel. So let's keep that up moving forward.
Sure.
Let's see what some of the comments here were about. Let's see. We got Ray talking about the Knicks. Before we start, I'd like to say let's go next. All right.
You know what I mean?
Yo, TD, man, what's going on, bro? Where were you last week? I mean, there was a lot going on, with the Red Sox. TD, if you haven't watched the last show, go ahead and check out the shorts because, we had a lot to say regarding what's going on with your team and your franchise player, quote unquote.
Sure. Although after that meeting, your boy went on your boy's hitting like 400. He's hitting 419 in the last 8 games since the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's actually living up to being a DH, though, right? I respect that. Like that. If you're gonna go on and talk the way that you're talking, not only to baseball fans, but to your own organization, you're gonna have to put on a performance, and he's been doing that.
Damn. Oh man, damn.
TD, I want to ask you a question, because I don't want to get into that again, but because you are here and because you're a Red Sox fan, a lot of people, and I'm sure you've seen this in the comment section, for us, Stefan. A lot of people have been saying like, yo, why are people even like making this a thing when he already put ink to paper? So it's not like anything is going to change. I've been seeing that a lot. Whereas a lot of people don't really see it as, oh, because you are earning that amount of money, that's like the perfect reason to even want to be a team player. But some people are like, yo, he already got paid. So what's the problem?
The problem is you look like a selfish douche.
Right. I get that.
The problem is.
I get that. I get that for sure.
What's the problem? The problem is you look like an inconsiderate jerk off. That's the problem.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they had to go to the youngster. Campbell is actually now the one who's getting reps at first base, which is crazy, man.
Why don't you listen? Can I ask a question? In all seriousness, Anthony Rizzo was sitting at the crib. Call him for like a year, about half a year. You're gonna put this kid at 20 years old at first base? That's terrible. Red Sox unserious. You're going to put that kid in that spot? That's crazy to me.
And I kind of feel like now listen, it's great to see that he's willing to step up and, take some reps at first base to be able to play the position if needed. But at the same time, I kind of feel like the Red Sox are taking advantage of him a little bit. Like he just got called up, He hasn't really solidified himself at any position yet.
For sure.
You kind of have no choice but to do whatever they're telling you.
For sure. By the way, we got 9 of you guys in the chat. Let's get a 9. Throw up a 9 right now in the chat one time if you're in here. You know what I mean? But let's get to the other controversial topic before we have some fun with the Detroit Tigers. For all you Oriole fans on TikTok that said I was wearing Yankee gear, this is for you. I purposely didn't wear no Yankee gear because I don't want to be accused of being a Yankee fan.
I swapped. I'm wearing the Yankee gear now.
But memo to y'all. The message doesn't change. Your team still sucks. Your team's worse than when we shot the video last week. Your team is still trash.
Right. And one thing I want to say about that too, since we're on that topic now, like, listen, the guys that you did mention, now, do all of them have to go? Probably not, right? But your point, I think people are missing your point overall, though. Like, it wasn't necessarily to move on from all 3 of the guys that you mentioned.
Right.
But it was just to put out there, like, listen, if things are not working for you, right, and you're not trying to spend money, the only other option you have to be able to make the team better is to get rid of a guy or two, right?
Right.
Like, why can't people comprehend that?
First of all,
Especially if you're a Baltimore Orioles fan. Like, I know you want to be able to hold on to everybody, right?
yeah.
I got news for you. The Orioles don't like to spend money, and there's going to be other teams in on those guys when it's time for them to finally get paid.
By the way, bro, we got a new sub in here. We got a new person in here, yo. So the Tigers are on a World Series today. We're gonna get to them. We're gonna get to them.
Ooh, 99 over 22.
We're gonna
Welcome.
get AL is trash. We're gonna get to that too. Record means nothing, he says. He's coming in spicy. We see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What I will tell you is this. This is a Mike Elias problem. This is a Mike Elias problem, and this is a David Rubenstein problem. I understand that the Orioles are going to fire the manager because it's easy. He's the fall guy. He's the low-hanging fruit. But Mike Elias didn't solve this pitching problem in the offseason. You had Corbin Burns. You didn't replace him with nothing. Right? At some point, we got to come to the realization that these general managers have to take accountability, and so do these ownership groups, with the idea that if you continue to stand pat, as the sport evolves, they're going to run circles around you. And it's what you do to improve your club that's going to determine what are you going to do for years to come. The reason why the Orioles are as bad as they are now, simply put, straight and plain, is you didn't do nothing to address your offseason issues. Right? And then we wonder why you're 15 and 31, by the way, if they lose tonight. Come on now. Like, you're throwing out Charlie Morton. I understand the Japanese pitcher, Setsugo, has been amazing. I like him, right? But it's like, you can't, we're throwing out Charlie Morton? Is that what we're doing, right? Like, you didn't improve that bullpen. That bullpen still has the same problem. They're blowing games left and right. Right? And you're losing to teams that you should be beating. The Nationals are good, but you should be beating the Washington Nationals. There's a lot of stuff happening with that team that I'm not a fan of. And I'm going to be honest. Do you see what they did to the coaching staff? Everybody brought up was from the minor leagues. They did not bring up not one major league coach to put on that coaching staff. That is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sit there and you wonder why we are telling you, yo, you might have to trade a Rutschman. You might have to trade a Henderson. You might have to trade a blah, blah, blah. Because if your ownership group is not willing to spend the money to put yourself in position, because, listen, Mike Elias can only do but so much. Right. If you tie my hands financially and you tell me this is what we can and this is what we can't do, what is he supposed to do?
Your only other option is to work from within and get rid of a guy or two to be able to hopefully land the pitcher that you need.
But it might not even be worth it at this point.
Exactly, right.
We might just ride out what we got with the season that's left and just address a lot of this in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing that I'm questioning with the Orioles right now is you got to have some pride. You got to have some pride. You're in the big leagues. You're getting paid a lot of money. You're getting paid a lot of money. You're getting paid. You're playing a kid's game, and you're looking like hot garbage. They're looking like when they come to the field, they don't care about what happens. They don't care about the results. And that right there, to me, is an indictment. You have to look in the mirror at your professionalism, because they look horrible. Their team ERA right now is 5 point. I think it's almost 6.
Let's see.
Their team ERA is definitely in the high 5s. For sure. Last I saw it was in the high 5s. So when you look at it from that perspective, I think only the Rockies and somebody else that's a bad team is higher than them. They're like the 3rd highest ERA in baseball right now. And so I'm looking at that and I'm like, the Orioles are like, a lot of this is on Mike Elias.
The Orioles right now, just to add on to your point, they are currently ranked 26th with a 5.5 ERA.
5 yeah, thank you. I knew they were in the 5s, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, if that's the case, it doesn't matter how many runs you score. Notice they're not scoring runs now.
Yeah, the offense, it doesn't even look as good as I thought it would.
Because every time you turn around, you're down 4-0, you're down 5-0, Yo, they were down 4-0 in the first inning with no outs the other day. The game was over. And I'm like, well, goddamn. If this is what it's going to take, if this is what it's going to look like the rest of the summer, I don't like the manager might not be enough. Listen, Mike Elias might have to lose his job. And I'm not advocating for that, but this is 3 years of you doing the same thing and expecting a different result. What they say the definition of insanity is, you do the same thing over and over again. You get you try to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
They didn't change.
So I've read because obviously, and we stated this a couple minutes ago.
Right.
Orioles fans, they've been going crazy on our TikTok.
Right.
Listen, good or bad, shout out to you guys for stopping by and showing love. I mean, we still appreciate it. Share however you feel. Listen, if you want to come for us, come for us. If you want to say otherwise, then say otherwise. It is what it is. Right. This is a platform for anyone to speak their mind, as long as we're not being disrespectful, first and foremost. But some people have said that maybe this should be the last, I guess, trade deadline that they give to the GM, just to see, even though I don't think anything special is going to happen, because I think they've dug themselves too deep into a hole this point into the season. And then you're playing in a division where the Yankees are better than you, the Red Sox are better than you, the Rays are better than you.
The division's better than you.
Yeah, even the Blue Jays.
And the division's terrible.
Right.
The AL East is the worst division in baseball. For all intents and purposes, it's the worst division in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at it from that perspective, it's like, yo, bro, why are you giving him another trade deadline to do what? To sit on his hands?
Yeah.
What is giving him another trade deadline do? It just prolongs the same thing?
I will say, though, after this season, if the O's go into the 2026 season with the same guys on the staff, there's a problem. We have a problem.
Listen,
because there's no way we're gonna act like, and you can see it for those of you who didn't know this, but I put this in the title of tonight's video for a reason. He won AL Manager of the Year just 2 years ago, bro.
That don't matter.
It's not even that guy's fault.
That don't matter. Look at what the Nuggets did. Not to change sports, but look at what the Denver Nuggets did to Mike Malone. Mike Malone won Coach of the Year a couple years ago. They just won a championship in Denver, 2023.
Yeah.
You 5 games left in the regular season. You fire the coach and the general manager.
I didn't understand that move when it happened at the time because of how late into the season it was.
But I'm saying,
and how you gonna bring somebody else knowing that the playoffs are around the corner? What kind of BS is that? You don't do that. I'm not saying you don't get rid of the guy, but the timing was just like, forget about it. In fact, if you were gonna do it, you should have done it sooner.
I agree with you. And the reality of it is, if you're the Orioles, if you're Gunnar Henderson, if you're Adley Rutschman, if you're all those young kids, if ownership don't care, why should we give a fuck?
Mm-hmm.
If the general manager don't care, why should we care? If you're not doing anything to supplement the team, to make us better, to turn us into a contender, why should we care?
You know what I do see them doing, though? Outside of the guys who you recommended that they should start actually like having trade talks with or about, I should say, I could see them instead probably getting rid of like a Cedric Mullins, maybe a Zach Eflin, since he's having a decent year for them.
Right, yeah.
I can see them doing that. Now, is that what you should be doing? Not really, because I don't think that's going to bring you much in return anyway.
Mid-season, it's hard to talk about the trades that I'm talking about. That's why I would, in the winter, I'd fire this whole staff and I'm putting everybody on the trading block. Yo, he's available. Because, but they're on the team contract. They're still in the cheap contracts. But if you're not willing to pay while they're on cheap contracts to be contender, when they become more expensive, what are you going to do?
Right.
You have them at a point right now where you can pay guys to come in and augment your roster, augment the pitching staff, augment the bullpen, because these guys are not making any money.
Exactly, because when it gets to that point, you won't be able to afford both.
And that's my point, and that's why I'm fighting. I'm looking at these comments from these Orioles fans, and I'm like, are we not? Am I speaking Chinese? Like,
you know what I hate too? I actually want to say this too. And you touched on it before you got into, the topic that we're currently on. And guys, for those of you who have been here for as long as you have been, because it may vary, right? Some of you guys have been here for quite some time, other guys not so long. But regardless of that, listen, thank you guys for just enjoying the show, period,
Right.
as always. But you know what I hate? The fact that, like, for example, me right now, I got a Yankees jersey on. I have a Yankee cap on. You stated this, Stefan, in that short that I had put out regarding, you talking about the O's and what they should be doing since they don't want to spend money. I kind of feel like the people who had something to say about the message that you were actually sharing in that video were so focused on the fit that they forgot what was coming out of your mouth right away. And it was a few people who had something to say. But it's like, dude, for the people who actually watch the show, right, as often as you guys have been here for, you guys could tell by now, Stefan and I are not biased at all. Like, we've shared with you guys who we are a fan of. But TD, you're a Red Sox fan, bro. Are we likable Yankee fans? Please let us know in the comment section. Anybody else in the chat right now? We got a few of you guys watching. If you're a fan of another team and you're watching right now, have you ever watched this show and said to yourself, yo, Stefan and Ivan, man, I can't watch these dudes, man. They're Yankee fans, but they're just like any other Yankee fan. I don't think anybody could really say that about us, So when we share messages and we put things out there before like mainstream media is even talking about it, we're not just trying to share things because we want to talk out of our asses. It's because we really feel like this, regardless of who we're a fan of. And I just want to remind people because they get so caught up with, I wouldn't be surprised, bro. Watch when I put clips out later this week. Oh, he got a Yankee jersey. His jersey says New York. He got to shut up. Like, yo, stop thinking like that. Stop, please. Sorry, I just had to put that out there.
No, and you know what? It also makes it a little bit more. It makes you really see that people don't pay attention to what you do. People don't pay attention to what you say, but how you look, what your body actions may dictate. The reason why I'm telling the old Baltimore Orioles to blow this up is because when have they paid their own guy? Manny Machado didn't pay him. You paid Chris Davis, he was out the league 3 years later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think, to my knowledge, I think that's the last time they genuinely paid somebody who should have gotten paid. And actually, at the time, like you said, they ended up regretting it because he forgot how to hit the baseball.
Like it's like hold on. So we're gonna sit there and what have you done? And these are your own homegrown guys. If you should pay anybody, it should be these guys.
Right.
And the thing is, you know why the Orioles are even more kind of knuckleheads? Because why weren't these contract extensions negotiated and talked about last year after you made the playoffs, or the year before that after they made the playoffs? Why are you not trying to lock up your young core?
That's a good point.
Unless deep down inside, Mike Elias and his staff do not believe in that young core, and it's starting to come to a point where, you know what? We don't really believe in you guys.
Or like you said, maybe he's not being given like the green light financially.
Could be, right. But whatever it is.
But that's a great point, though. Why not try to get these guys for a steal? Like, or for one of these dudes, 150 mil, see if they give in. Or for somebody 200 mil to see if they give in. Because when it comes to having to pay up 300 million plus, we know y'all are not going to want to do that.
So this is my thing. We're moving on to the Tigers, right? If I'm the Detroit Tigers right now, I have a 10-year deal for 250 million at Tariq Scooble's doorstep. Yo, my boy, he's 10 years. Take it right now. Because he's going to get more expensive. Jackson Jobe is going to get more expensive. Gary Carpenter is going to get more expensive. Riley Green, you locked him up. You did right. He got his extension, right? I believe they locked up Gary Carpenter too, if I'm not mistaken. I think they did. They locked him up. But this pitching is going to get more expensive.
Right? And the thing is, too, Tariq Skubal has spoken, well when it comes to the Tigers and about his time there thus far. Yeah. So you might be able to get away with a deal like that if you offer it soon.
And then also, what it shows you is, look, I will tell you this. if you're the Tigers, you're in a situation right now where your World Series window is open. I understand 22 over 99 disagreed, but with that pitching staff that they have, they can go all the way to the World Series. That bullpen is no joke. Javier Baez to me is the comeback player of the year in the American League already.
Yes, yes.
Already.
Mm-hmm.
Comeback player of the year. This guy looks like he's born to place in the field. I don't know where he's been all these years, but welcome back.
Right? Or were you playing the wrong position all along?
I mean, you might have been. And then I look at some of the like the ancillary parts, like I like their catcher, Dingler. I like Spencer Torkelson has come out like a house full of fire this season.
Even Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres looks good for the Tigers too.
And also, that's what happens when you're not in New York, when everybody's not calling you a space cadet, when there's 4 media members in the locker room,
Right.
and you could just go play. That's what happens. But I'm telling you right now, that offense looks good, man. Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Kerry Carpenter, they got an offense. And if they go get one more bat,
oh, it's a
I'd
problem.
like them to get one more bat. I don't know where you get it from, but if you could get one more, you know who I'd like the Tigers to go get if the Rays aren't in it? Go get Yandy Diaz, make him the DH.
Right.
You need as much veteran leadership in that clubhouse and in that lineup as you could possibly get. Yandy Diaz, I would go get Cedric Mullins to play center. I would go get Cedric Mullins. Listen, Javier Baez in center field, the experiment is working for now. You're talking about Cedric Mullins being one of the elite center fielders in the game. The Tigers should go get that guy.
Right. And the good thing about the Tigers right now, like they're in a position where it's not like they have to go out there and get a superstar, right? Just get somebody who's good at raking. That's pretty much it. So doesn't necessarily have to be a good defender either. Yeah. Like, listen, even if they don't want to go out there and give up too much, right? Or even if you don't want to have to cough up some money. I mean, there is a guy by the name of J.D. Martinez who is still available. Now, he's older. He's up there in age. But veteran presence, he could still rake for his age. Give it a shot. Why not?
I'm going to say something that's a little off the beaten path. It's a little different. But I wonder if a team and a player, like if the Diamondbacks don't snap out of this, Eugenio Suarez, go get him from Arizona. Go get one of those middle order thumper guys that when it's game time, this motherfucker might hit 3 home runs to get us to the next level.
I wonder how the Tigers are thinking right now. Because, listen, they're one of the hottest teams in baseball, along with some others. And shout out to the Tigers for, building off of last season, right? Like coming out of nowhere and finally showing not just the American League, but all of baseball. Like
that pitching staff.
You come into Detroit now, like you've got yourself a problem. But I wonder if they're pleased with everything that they have going on right now, or if they actually do have a trick up their sleeve and they're just waiting to pull the trigger.
If I had to guess, because they were really aggressive on Alex Bregman thing.
I remember,
on some free agents, so they know they're in this window where you got to go right now. So I wonder if they're having conversations internally with themselves. Do we go get a Ryan McMahon from Colorado? Do we go get a player that is like, I'd like to see Brian Reynolds play for the Tigers. Switch hitting, veteran, get back. Maybe that rejuvenates.
Brian Reynolds from the Pirates?
From the Pirates, yes.
Right.
Where it's like, you're not doing nothing with him. We can use him. Hey, Brian, come in. Come play fucking left field or something.
Mean, the Pirates might be open to it. I know I think a couple seasons ago, there was a point where like even the Yankees were interested once upon a time. So listen, if given the right package for him, I could see the Pirates wanted to move on from him.
Now with the Phillies suspension, with Jose Alvarado being suspended, the Phillies are in the thick of things, right? And I was like, what do both teams need? Like both teams could kind of use what the other one got. Mm-hmm. So I was starting kind of thinking like maybe we get a Will Vest for, Alec Bohm type of package. Alec Bohm goes to Detroit, new start. Will Vest comes to the Phillies, and helps their back end of the bullpen a little bit. Like you kind of got a nickel and dime because here's the thing: there is no buyers and sellers market anymore. You're going to be doing a combination of both. You're buying and selling. It's a what they call a two-pronged market where you don't have definite buyers or sellers. Now you have teams that are buying, but now you have teams that are also making trades. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
it has to make sense for both sides.
Yeah, it's kind of like this thing where we're trying to do what's best for us in the moment. And the one thing you know about Dave Dombrowski is he's going to attack a weakness. He may not attack it the way Philly fans may want him to, but he's gonna go out and try to improve the club. And especially if you're the Tigers, the Royals ain't going nowhere. I don't know where the hell the Twins came from, but 13-game winning streak, 13 out of 14. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now we got a three-pronged race happening in this division. So I wonder how aggressive Scott Harris is going to be. Thank you, TD, for the name. And I wonder how aggressive ownership is going to be when you start to talk about trying to attack the weaknesses. Because here's the one thing you know about the Tigers. With that pitching staff, you walked into Houston and beat the Astros last year.
Right.
They are afraid of no one and nothing. That is one team with that staff. I don't want no problems, boss.
Listen, it's very early, and we are only in the middle of May. But I'm going to go out there and say that, you know what? I think the Tigers make it to the ALCS. Against who? We
don't know.
Need to find out.
We don't
right?
know, yeah.
But I'm going to go out there and say it'll be the Tigers against who knows in the ALCS.
And again,
this year.
I feel like I have this rant every time somebody gets suspended. Dave Dombrowski, you sound like a fool. Oh, he didn't know. He was trying to take a weight loss supplement. Get his weight down.
So apparently I found out earlier today that Jose Alvarado, he has spoken publicly about like his size and, I guess he just so happens to struggle with weight loss. And it seems like the thing that he just got suspended for was actually for weight loss, man. That sucks. Like, listen, you got all these trainers and all these damn doctors around you.
Doctors that you could call and be like, yo.
Like, listen, you had so many other ways I can imagine to shed that weight off.
It's sad.
And you go down the most stupidest route. Like, I don't even know what to say. But, like, this is something like I would expect somebody who's not playing at the professional level.
And you've been in the big leagues for a hot minute. So you know what's banned, what's not banned, what's allowed, what's not allowed.
And then also, how do you do that? This is a little selfish as well, right? You do that. So not only are the Phillies going to be without you for 80 games, but you mentioned this on our social media, Stefan. They're going to be without him for the playoffs too, if the Phillies do make it. So we already know the two guys who they had lost in the offseason. And now you could essentially add Jose Alvarado to that list as well. So it's kind of like, damn, like you put them in a tough position. Because what do they do now?
It's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose. And unfortunately, it just made Dave Dombrowski's job a lot harder. I mean, a lot harder because now I got to go find a closer. I got to go. I was already having bullpen issues to begin with, but I got to find a closer too.
Mm-hmm. And you're down one less man. Like you said, you were already looking to get somebody, and now we're going to be without yet another guy.
That's crazy. Oh, man, it's so crazy.
That sucks, man, honestly.
Speaking of, I want to just end this on a good note because, Will Benson, there's a guy with tremendous power for the Cincinnati Reds. Remember, I was surprised that he started the season in the minor leagues to start the year. Somebody told Will Benson it was rivalry weekend because he saw the Guardians and was like, you getting 4 home runs this weekend. Hit one Friday, hit one Saturday, hit 2 on Sunday, and said, hold that.
Sheesh.
Hold that. And I was telling Rick earlier, none of these home runs were cheapies, bro. I mean, he crushed every single one of those baseballs. I'm telling you right now, I'm hoping that the Cincinnati Reds and the Chicago Cubs are fighting it out because, boy, are we headed for some fun. And I'm going to throw I'm going to say something a little crazy. I don't know if you're ready, but that boy Pete Crow Armstrong is a sneaky MVP candidate. They had his projections up earlier today. I read them, and I damn near lost my mind. 41 home runs, 48 stolen bases, 31 RBIs, and 124 runs scored. That's his projections as of now.
Right. I mean, even if he doesn't reach that exactly, but if he gets something close to that, that's ridiculous.
That is, that's MVP level stuff right there. And you're talking about a guy that plays Gold Glove center field?
Mm-hmm. You know what actually surprised me about these games over the past week or so? How about the Angels sweeping the Dodgers?
Hold that.
For the first time in a while. It's been a long time since they actually did that. I was surprised.
Hold that.
All right, let's get before we get into the comments, one final reminder, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, where we are at 99 followers right now as we speak. Is the lucky number 100 in here? If it is, head on to our Instagram at 27hours3C, and also Twitter and TikTok as well. For those of you watching live right now via YouTube, hit that thumbs up button, please, because it does go a very long way, and subscribe.
One more baseball note before we get on out of here.
No, we getting into comments too, bro. So go ahead.
Real quick. No, but one final note: the Dodgers pitching injuries continue. Sasaki shut down with a shoulder impingement. Gonna be down like another month.
I kind of saw that coming. I kind of felt like it was just a matter of time.
They just moved Blake Snell to the 60-day IO, so he's not eligible to come off until I think I read like mid-July. Dodgers are going through some struggling.
They actually have been making some moves though to make space. Now that they see that they've got things not working in their favor. Mm-hmm. Chris Taylor, a guy who was there for a decent amount of time.
Austin Barnes, the backup catcher, was DFA'd. Yep.
Right. So I like the fact that the Dodgers aren't remaining stagnant, and they're coming up with ways to try to add to the roster. And like I said, I've said this before, and I'm going to continue to say this. It would not surprise me if they feel the need to have to pull the trigger at the deadline for whatever they need. Mm-hmm. Because I think if things continue to happen, the way that they have been 2 months into the season now. I mean, if you're looking to repeat at that point, you kind of have no other option but to make that
explore
move.
Some options and see what's out there, right?
Yeah. All right, let's get into these comments here. What we got here? Let's see. Let's see.
BCF MVP just saw the Cubs at Wrigley Field on Friday. The whole experience and the game were awesome. Shout out to Razor
Shout out to you, Rick, for being able to enjoy that. However, I must say, I disagree with the whole PCA for MVP thing. I like the campaign. I like the fact that we got something going, and the Cubs are actually able to say, listen, we have this alongside Kyle Tucker.
That kid is balling. That kid is balling.
But if he keeps it up, then hey, who knows? He might be a candidate.
That kid is balling. He's having a year. Shout out to him. For sure.
This is actually a great one here by TD. We should have paid Mookie Betts. Oh, really? Or do you mean instead of Betts?
Instead of Devers, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I see the Nor basically cancels both. So I'm like, wait, really? No, but I know what you mean, though. Shout out to Ray. 100% love this show, man.
Appreciate that, brother.
Listen, and we love the fact that, not only are you supporting us now, but, you've been one of our supporters for some time now. Because if you know, right? Not everybody knows, but I know, Ray, you know exactly what I mean by saying that.
Shrek, Schoolboy's a fan of somebody that's going to pay him the money. That don't mean nothing. Whoever pays him the money, that's where he's going.
Wow, you see what he said? A year and a half from now, Schoolboy may be a. Oh
no.
I mean, if the Red Sox are down to pay something that the Tigers aren't capable of getting to themselves, then possibly. But I think it's important to note that Schoolboy has come out and said that
he'd like to
enjoy his time with the Tigers. So
for sure.
Let's just keep that
in
mind.
His mom loves Detroit. So.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Who do I think will be MVP in the NL? Ooh, that is interesting. I don't know. If I had to give you a top three, let's see, where would I go? Wow, man.
Fernando
Tatis is up there for sure.
Shohei,
Obviously. I mean,
and
even if he doesn't put on a performance, I just think his name at this point kind of like just solidifies like a top three, top five finish.
My third would probably. I don't know, man. I'm kind of like.
Oh, actually, to answer your question, Rick, how could I forget this? Because I already said this on the show. My MVP pick for the National League is actually Francisco Lindor. How can I forget that? Remember I said that a couple weeks ago. Yes. So there you go, Rick. I'm with Francisco Lindor, but also, what Stefan and I were just talking about in terms of who else we see, being up there as a finalist.
For sure. Real quick before we go, guys, we're gonna try and get a second show in at some point soon. Like I said, like he said, we got to work around the Knicks schedule. We know the Knicks schedule, however. Game 1 is Wednesday. Game
All right,
2
so let's figure this out. Let's take a couple minutes here because we are at the 1 hour mark. Shout out to you guys for the comments as well.
Snow in the building. What's up, Snow?
When does that? Right, yeah. I mean, at this point, I think they're probably already making the MVP plaque with his name on it because it's only right. So let's go through that Eastern Conference final schedule. So game 1 is Wednesday.
Game 2 is Friday.
Game 2 is Friday, right?
Game 3 is Saturday.
So between now and Friday, we won't be back. Game 3 is. When is game
Saturday.
3?
I believe it's Saturday. I could be wrong.
Back to back?
No. Sunday.
Hold on. Let's see.
Sunday.
We got Wednesday, we got Friday, and we got Sunday. So that means if we are going to try to squeeze in a second show, it would have to be that Saturday. Because if not, then we would have to wait a full 7 days again because the Knicks and Pacers don't play on Monday. They play on Tuesday. So
we could get one. We could get. Hey, you know what? If you guys are here for a Saturday nighter, we'll be in here depending on what happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's another thing too. Like if it's not like that much of a busy week in Major League Baseball, then we won't come back on Saturday. We'll just come back, in a week.
Also, real quick, I know we leaving right now, but I have to ask: did you hear what Corbin Burns said about this new strike zone technology? He's not a fan of it because he doesn't think it's accurate. And he wants baseball to work on getting it more accurate.
I didn't hear about what he said, no.
So he spoke to The Athletic and he basically said, listen, you have to put in a system that is more accurate because on the margins, you could win or lose a game on the margins. He said he kind of doesn't like the way that it's being the way that they're explaining it, the way that they're rolling it out. He said he's not really a fan of the system. He says he sees some inaccuracies in the system. By the way, I think there are 4 owners, 2 players, and 1 umpire on this committee that is going to talk about rolling this out and what it possibly could look like. But the automated strike zone is coming in 2026, but it feels like there's some early pushback already. So just be on the lookout for that. We'll get into it on next week's show. And also, real quick for the record, because we didn't mention this, like I did put up a social media post. Pete Rose and Shoulders Joe Jackson are eligible for the Hall of Fame. Do they get in? Don't they get in? I think Shoeless Joe gets in. I think the stuff with Pete Rose and not only just betting on bait, but the underage, him sleeping with underage girls and all that other stuff is going to be.
Oh shit! He was on his R. Kelly. I can't even say Diddy. He was on his R. Kelly. Yo, by the way, man. Listen, I know this is a baseball show, but how about that Diddy trial? It is finally underway. Cassie has spoken. Dawn of Danity Kane, the female group that Diddy put together.
Aubrey is next. Well. Aubrey's next. She's gonna take the stand next. So.
And that's one person who I've heard she's got some things to tell.
Got some dirt.
She's done some interviews I've seen.
Nah, Diddy's done. They locking his brother underneath the jail and throwing away the key. He's finished.
So is it safe to say it's not free Diddy then, right? Is no free Diddy?
Take that.
Oh man. Now I just wanted to know what you guys think about that. Because listen, outside of baseball, right? Like we all watch baseball. We love it as much as we all do. But listen, you got basketball, the playoffs, the Diddy situation, as I mentioned, and so many other things too. But that's how we like to end the show off here, right? We like to drift off sometimes and ask you what do you think on this or that. Or even if you want to bring something random to our attention that maybe perhaps we aren't aware of yet, you could also do that too, right?
For sure. I will leave this. We'll end the show by saying this. I think the Knicks win in 7. I think the Knicks are going to the NBA Finals. I think they will beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, and Oklahoma City will beat them in 5.
Okay, hold on. So you have the Knicks winning this series against the Pacers in 7.
In 7 games.
And you have the finals matchup between the Knicks and OKC, but OKC coming out on top?
In 5, yes.
Wow, in 5, really? You think they make it that easy if it is the Knicks that they have to face?
OKC is good, man. OKC is
good,
man.
Listen, well, we do know one thing for sure. Knicks fans, they've already shown how they're going to act just for an Eastern Conference Finals appearance.
So
what if they actually clinch a spot in the finals? They might have to shut down New York, no lie.
So here's what I'm going to tell you, right? Like this, and I want to be very clear, this is not going to be easy series against Indiana. Indiana, they can shoot the ball. They got size. This is not going to be a fun series. It's not going to be an easy series. The key for me is if you can stop Tyrese Halliburton, you can win the series. He's their key. You stop him, you're going to win the series. The reason why I got the Knicks in 7 is because Indiana, they're gonna make it hard on you. They're gonna make life miserable for you. They're gonna do because Karl Anthony Towns and Miles Turner are the exact same player. Miles Turner shoots the 3. He does all the stuff that Cat does, but he's better defensively than Cat is, right? So the question is like, okay, what happens to the other matchups? Does Mikal get the better of his matchup? Does OG and Pascal? What does that look like? But I got the Knicks in 7, winning at the Garden. I'd like to see the Timberwolves because if we see the Timberwolves, as much as I love Anthony Edwards, the New York Knicks will be NBA champions. But I'm not allowing myself to think that far ahead. I'm picking OKC just because I'm a Knicks fan, and I know eventually the other shoe is going to have to drop at some point. The basketball gods have been very kind to us lately. So I'm picking Knicks in 7 in this series. And listen, momentum is a hell of a thing. As much as I think OKC beats him, listen, Jalen Brunson, that boy ain't playing.
Yo, you know what I wanted to say too? Now that we're on this, before we go, Knicks fans, listen, while you guys deserve this moment, rightfully so, it's been that long. And I've been able to get a better understanding for that and what it feels like being a friend of yours, Stefan, for 10 years now. So I can only imagine what it's been like, right? I've been living through you when it comes to the Knicks, I should say.
Right.
But at the same time, like, they have to chill just a little bit. And I'm not trying to rain on that parade.
Tone it back a little bit.
You know why I say that? Did you see the Knicks fans who threw garbage at that Pacers fan, bro?
But you got to tone it back. And
for real, I'm all for talking trash.
No, but here's
once we start throwing things at people, it's like, come on now, stop.
Those Knicks fans don't represent the city, though.
Shit, I think they do because Knicks fans are animals.
Yeah, but you got to understand. No, but they represent the younger demographic. They don't represent the old heads like me. No, the hell you don't. Listen, at the end of the day, it's going to be a fun series. It's going to be something that I'm looking forward to. But let's just put this in this perspective, right? The Knicks are at the point right now where you can't get too high, you can't get too low, right? Game 1 of a series is always very important, and I'm leaving with this. The only time that I want to see celebrations on 7th Avenue is when they clinch the championship. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but they're 4 wins away from the NBA Finals. They haven't been 4 wins away from the Finals since 99. So let's just put that in perspective when we start talking about your one Knicks fans acting up. Bro, you were 5 years old last time we made the Finals. Do I think they're going a little bit too far? Yeah, but I can understand where it's coming from. When we used to get clown, oh, you root for the Knicks?
Yes. I remember.
You used to clown me back in the day. Yo, you a
I
Knicks
used to
fan.
say, I don't know how you do it. Like, listen, I was never being from New York, a New Yorker myself. I was never a Knicks fan, right?
Yeah.
There was a time when I used to watch Knicks games on a regular. And that
Mellow.
was back when Carmelo Anthony was on the team, because watching him just put on a performance when it came to scoring was like
Yeah.
watching a piece of art just go to work, right?
Sure, yeah.
But I wouldn't say that I was even a Knicks fan then, because had Melo not been there, I don't think I would have been watching as many games.
Right.
And the last thing I want to say too is, can we stop with the comparisons? Like, not just with the Knicks, but over the past few days, I've been seeing Jalen Brunson versus Melo, Jalen Brunson versus Patrick Ewing, Francisco Lindor versus Derek Jeter. Yo, stop all of that. Stop all of that, please.
So
everyone has had their time, and if somebody just so happens to be better, it is what it is.
Right.
Why do we have to put up these two guys up against each other?
Let's enjoy it for what it is.
Like, that Lindor shit and Jeter really pisses me off.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I'm a little biased because Derek Jeter is my favorite player of all time.
No,
but I'm going to go ahead and say one thing. Francisco Lindor may be the better player overall, but I got two things that I will bet my life on that Francisco Lindor would never sniff, and that is 5 World Series championships and also 3,000 plus hits.
You talking?
I'm just saying.
Here's the thing:
he could be the better defender. He could win more Gold Gloves. He could hit more home runs. You could have all of that, brother. Make more money as you should.
And here's what I'm gonna say.
But there's certain things that you just won't reach, because those two things are only for the select few.
Right. Here's what I'm gonna say, right? And I think you're 100% right. We need to stop with the comparisons, because guess what? Jalen Brunson and Jalen Brunson's better already than Patrick Ewing and Carmelo Anthony put together. He has more 30-point games than the both of those brothers. Can we stop? If Jalen Brunson wins a championship, he might be the greatest Knick of all time. There's no argument to be made. This brother has done in 3 years what Carmelo Anthony and Patrick Ewing haven't done in 15 years put together. Stop. Conversation done. Jalen Brunson is out here spanking niggas' asses in the fourth quarter, and I'm leaving with this stat. He has more fourth quarter points in these playoffs. He's on a list with Kobe Bryant. He's on a list with Michael Jordan. End of list. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Jalen Brunson. End of list.
Mm-hmm.
Done. If this brother wins a championship at 6 foot whatever, I don't want to hear about Carmelo Anthony. I don't want to hear about Patrick Ewing. The only name I might want to let you slide with is Walcott Frazier. And that's if you're 50 years old. Because if he wins one, he might be the greatest Knick of all time. And he's 8 wins away from doing it. Rant over.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, enough baseball, enough basketball talk. Shout out to everyone who is still here. We really appreciate it. Shout out to everyone who was rocking in the chat. As always, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. We actually gained a subscriber on tonight's show. We're at 193 now.
I know who it is.
So shout out to you guys for that. And that's about it. You know, like I said, between now and Saturday, we're going to see if it makes sense to come back for a second episode. If not, we will be back 7 days from now to bring you a brand new episode of what I hope is your favorite baseball show, 27 Outs.
I'm sorry, y'all. The Knicks are holding me hostage.
That's why it's the Monday. That's why it's the Monday, because if not Sunday, Monday. Because like I said, we kind of like, you know, we're working around that. But it's only a matter of time until they either get eliminated or they just win the whole damn thing, and then we already know what we're going to do moving forward.
If they win the whole thing, I might just come on the stream twisted just to celebrate, all right? I don't know. Oh, no. So, shout out to y'all, man. But as I like to say, we ain't got to go home, but we got to get the hell up out of here. So peace, y'all.